Welcome to Actualized Fantasy. Over the last week and a half, I've been quite busy with work and just life in general, but I did manage to find some time to work on the Spiral Abyss project a little. And I've gotten to the point where I'm starting to look towards what models and assets I need to make next. And one of them is arguably the most important asset required for natural environment scenes. And I figured it would make for a good video. So, allow me to take you through my process of making high quality grass in Blender. Specifically, I'll be going over how to use texture maps to create grass blade alpha cards, scattering them using a particle system, and finally getting them into a state ready for export to a game engine or any other platform. If you'd like to follow along, then you can download the texture pack I'm using in this video from the link in the description. It's from a wonderful site that holds an impressive collection of textures for artists to use however they like, and everything is licensed under CC0, so it's a perfect resource if you're looking for textures for your projects. And with the preamble out of the way, let's begin. In Blender, start by deleting the default cube, as is tradition. Create a simple plane. This will be the basis for the individual grass blades. Apply a new material and load your grass textures into the shading editor. After connecting everything and correcting the alpha settings, you should end up with something like this. Next, cut the mesh into pieces, separating each blade of grass from the others and making each their own separate mesh by using the edge split command. Then, use Alt-P, separate by loose parts, to turn them into individual objects. After this, make sure to correct the origin point to a location just below the bottom of the grass blade by moving the mesh in edit mode. And once this is done for each one, we're ready to begin the scattering stage. Place all of the grass objects into their own separate collection. Create another plane and form it into the general shape of your grass field. You can make any shape you'd like. I've just gone with a basic square for the sake of simplicity. In the Particle Systems tab of this shape, create a new particle system and switch it from particle to hair. Reduce the particle count to something more reasonable, and go down and switch its rendering settings from path to collection, and choose the one holding the grass objects. Now our field has grass, but we can make this look a bit better by playing with the settings of the particle system. I generally enable the advanced options and just mess with the settings until I get something I like, so feel free to play around here and find what works best for you. I'll leave a comment in the description that lists all of the specific settings I generally mess with, although the exact values of which will change on a case-by-case basis. At this point, we can amp up the particle count to make the field denser, and to generate new fields, simply change the seed value here. Now to get the grass out of Blender, create a duplicate of the grass field and move it to a new collection. This is mainly just to keep things nice and clean. Press the Make Instances Real button on the Field's Modifier tab and wait for the system to generate all of its meshes. Once all of the objects have loaded, press F3 to open this menu, and type Make Single User, and select Object and Data. Press Ctrl J to join the objects into one and apply all transforms to recenter the origin point. And that's it. A usable grass model that can be loaded into Unity, Unreal, or any other 3D program. Simply use the same texture set and you're good to go. This method is very flexible, and I urge you to experiment with the kinds of textures you use to find what works best for you. It's not an overly complicated method, but it has treated me very well so far. Its main issue is that it doesn't really work very well for extremely large and dense fields, but that's a whole other issue that many artists and game developers struggle with every day. I hope this was helpful, or at least interesting for you. I plan on doing a follow-up to this at some point where I show my setup for grass in Unity with shaders that mimic wind, subsurface scattering and more, so be on the lookout for that by subscribing and enabling notifications. I'll have my social media platforms listed in the description, so feel free to get in touch if you have any problems while trying out this method. Thank you for watching. Until next time.